Hello. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to make the neck pocket in CorelDRAW. So we should start with a file that already has our pickup pockets. And we're going to start by grabbing the rectangle tool and just drag a rectangle up here somewhere. Now, up here, we have our little orientation squares, and the middle one is selected right now, but we want our measurement to go from the bottom, so I'm going to select the bottom middle square there, and then set my X value to be 6.5, and set my Y value to be 12.5. Then I'm going to set my width to be 2.175 and height 3.125. Now, if your rectangle overlaps your cutout for your pocket, for your pickups, that means you probably didn't select this bottom object origin point. Also, if your rectangle has rounded corners, that means that these values up here aren't 0, and just set those values to 0 to give yourself corners again. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for this next part. And I'm going to get my B-spline tool. And my first point I'm going to place on an edge. Make sure that the word edge pops up. Notice you can get it midpoint to pop up also, but we don't want it on the midpoint right now, we just want it on the edge. So I'm going to make my first click on the edge. My second click, I want it to be on the corner, and I want the word node to pop up. So I'll click there. My third click, I want it to be on the midpoint of this bottom segment. Click. And then one more on this corner over here, make sure node shows up. And then this last one, I'm going to double click on the edge. Double clicking finishes off the B-spline. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a horizontal line at the right height and then drag my nodes down so that they will match up. So I'm going to change my B-spline to the 2-point line, and I'm going to start on one edge over here, click and drag across to where it locks onto the other edge and says perpendicular. Then I can let go. Then I'm going to set the Y value for that to be 12.875. And that should put us down here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my shape tool and then select the curve I made with the B-spline, and it'll light up my 5 little points. I want to leave the bottom 3 where they are, and I just want to take the top 2 and drag them to the node where the horizontal line intersects the edge. Now I'm going to go to the third button down that's crop right now. I'm going to hit the flyout menu and go to virtual segment delete. And then I'm going to drag across the horizontal line and across just these corner pieces down here. Once I've trimmed those other parts away, I'm going to get my pick tool again, drag around this whole feature, which has 2 pieces to it. Notice that if I just click on the top, if I click on that, I'm not selecting this bottom curve. And if I just click on the curve, I'm not selecting the top rectangle. But if I drag a box around both, I'm selecting both. And then, there's a weld button right there. If that weld button isn't showing up for you, you can go Object, Shaping, Weld, and that welds it together into one piece. And that is how you make your neck pocket, folks. Ba-ding!